What's up everybody, I'm Kirk, welcome back to the channel. A few months ago, Nightdive Studios put out their remaster of Quake, celebrating its 25th anniversary. It was a delightful and respectful update of a legend, preserving the look of the original while also giving it some much needed quality of life improvements. Not to mention the stunning new episode, Dimension of the Machine, developed by Machine Games. Recently, the game received its second major update, and to the surprise of all Rangers, included a new cooperative Horde mode promising oodles of old-school PvE action. And if that weren't enough, a new add-on was thrown in as well, titled Honey. In today's video, I'm going to have a quick check-in with Quake and let you know my thoughts on the Horde mode, as well as the Honey add-on. But before all that, if you're new here and you're digging what you're seeing, please consider liking and subscribing to help support this channel. Alrighty, let's begin. Before we dive into the Horde, let's briefly go over some of the work that's been put into this remaster post-launch. Bug fixes galore have been patched in, addressing issues in both the audio-visual as well as gameplay. On top of that, tweaks to controls and feel in both PC and console versions. Bot support was expanded into more levels and their AI improved. But what I'm most happy about is that now I can change my crosshair. Yay! Now I can have my square. The PS4 and Xbox versions of Quake received their next-gen patches as well. Now, if you have a TV that can handle it, you can play them in 4K at 120 Hz, which in the words of the Merovingian,
it's like wiping your ass with silk, I love it.
And if you're playing on the PS5, there's now adaptive trigger support for the DualSense, which feels quite nice with the chunky firing of Quake's famous weapon set. Quake's Horde mode can be enjoyed solo or cooperatively, with up to 4 players, online or split screen. It features 4 maps detailed with the art direction found in the Dimension of the Machine episode, and they sure do look pretty. As you'd expect, the objective is to kill enemies to score points, and killing multiple enemies in a row will net you bonus points. Downed enemies also have the chance to spawn a quad damage or pentagram of protection. However, their effects are a lot shorter to keep things balanced. Every third wave there is a boss round, where high-level enemies come out to play. Once the boss round is cleared, players are rewarded a silver key, which can open up more sections of the map, lending stronger weapons, health and armor pickups, as well as shortcuts. And sometimes they spawn traps. After completing 9 waves, a gold key will spawn, granting access to the slip gate, which will end the match, but you can keep going if you want. So, them's the basics. But how is it? Well, it's solid, a straightforward Horde mode. It's not reinventing the wheel, but it is executed nicely. Quake gameplay was already fun solo and cooperatively, and putting it in a wave-based structure is just as enjoyable, if not a hair on the chaotic side. I do have some complaints with this mode, however. First is that there's no online matchmaking. You have to spark it up either through starting your own match or find one in the server browser. It seemed a little odd to me that this isn't a feature. Next is that the tighter layouts of a few of these maps makes it a little too easy to bump up against players and get stuck in that awkward, oh, you going left, you going right, which way are we going sort of thing, which gets annoying. Also, while you can turn friendly fire off, if a teammate shoots you, it still hurts your armor, which will happen often as the Ranger and enemy Grunt skins are awfully similar. Also, getting shot by teammates can physically bump you around. Couple this with playing on a particularly laggy match, which unfortunately will happen from time to time, and you're going to be fighting against a lot of involuntary movement, which is not fun. So, to all of that, I think it would be nice if there was an option to turn player collision off. And I say option because I do see avenues where players can use it to their advantage. There were a few times I was blasted to unreachable points from friendly fire, which can provide a sneaky advantage or easier access to a secret. Oh yes, there are secrets on these maps, but beware their dangers. Otherwise, an option to turn player collision off would be appreciated. Past that, while Horde Mode is enjoyable, I do think it can be pushed further. I don't know if the developers have plans to support this mode further in the future, but in general, I do think it could be more challenging. This of course varies from player to player, but typically if you get 4 very competent Quake players in a match, they'll be able to burn through it with ease, even on Nightmare. I have a few suggestions of how the challenge could be pushed. First, I wonder if it's possible to have enemy variations. Stronger versions of baddies with more health, stronger attacks, or faster attack rates that can spawn during the latter waves. If done right, I think that could add a nice degree of spice to this mode. Second, I think it would be good if players could change the minimum amount of waves before they can complete a match. Right now, the minimum is 9, but it would be cool if you could bump it up even higher for a real marathon challenge. A lot of players are already going past round 9 to see how far they can go. Hell, while we're at it, why not have an endless mode with leaderboards so players can brag about their scores? Last, and I'm a little iffy on this one myself because I don't think this mode necessarily needs it, but I wonder what it would be like if there was a system where players could set up traps and barricades like in other Horde experiences. There are certainly devices in Quake already that could work in this respect, like the wall-bound nail shooters. Once again, I don't know if that's what this mode needs, but I am curious to see if it could work, as the strategy involved with it might bring an extra dimension of challenge to this mode. Joining Quake 64 in the add-ons is Honey, a short map pack that is indeed quite sweet. Honey was originally built in 2012 by one Christian Grauert, who happened to go on to become a senior level designer at Machine Games. This is a really cool, really high quality add-on that was revered by the Quake community for its impressive scale, tricky combat scenarios, and tweaks to the Quake formula. Tweaks like being able to kill zombies with the axe instead of using rockets. Honey consists of 2 maps with a third one acting as a hub zone where players can choose their difficulty. It begins with your rather verbose character entering an abandoned sunlit town. They soon discover the residents have all perished due to their water supply being poisoned, and your job is to descend into the town's underground to stop the flow of poison. Both maps are very intricate, with heavy focus on verticality and combat with limited footing. They look great too. The scale and detail is impressive, with maybe a few areas feeling a hair on the empty side. And much like Dimension of the Machine, there's a focus on making these places look like actual places. These are ancient, crumbling waterways, barely held together by wooden scaffolding with elaborate pipe systems where the water flows. It's good stuff. The Lost Temple is the most involved of the 2 levels. You actually traverse through it several times, using the grenade launcher and rocket launcher to unlock more parts to progress, which I dug. Always cool to see weapons being used as a form of progression as opposed to the keys. This map also features stronger versions of the ogres, easy to spot from these orange orbs over their heads. Both levels are fun to rampage through, and the thick, sometimes spooky atmosphere gives them a lot of personality. Also, I'm not gonna spoil it, but the ending is bizarre, but the kind of bizarre that will put a smile on your face. The downside is the sharp difficulty spikes, especially on Nightmare. Yeah, let's throw a bunch of shamblers and vores at me at the very end of a level. Great, love that. And there's way too many spawns. If you're curious how many is too many, 1. 1 is too many. My belly aching aside, this is a beautiful, fun add-on that sheds some light on Machine Games creatives, and perhaps can be looked at as a fascinating precursor to Dimension of the Machine. Despite it being a bit on the basic side, the new Horde mode is a fun excuse to pop back into Quake, and I'm hoping it's supported further in the future with more maps, mechanics, and further refining. Honey is also a blast of an add-on, and I hope it is the beginning of more high quality and historically relevant maps and mods coming to this remaster. The Quake Remaster is in tip-top shape. If you haven't had a chance to play it or are unfamiliar with Quake, I still, and always will, highly recommend it. In fact, if you need more convincing, my original review is linked in the description. But what do you think of this newest update? Any hot takes on the Horde mode? And what are some of your favorite mods and maps you would like to see included in the future? Be sure to let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications on future uploads. It's a couple clicks for you, but a massive help for this channel. And don't be shy and come say hi in the Kirk Collects Discord linked below. I'm Kirk, and thank you for watching this video. Stay safe out there.